You're on our 84th live series session. My name is Vahid Chitsaz, part of the Elite Mastermind group. Jay, let's dive into. Where are you located, Jay?
So I am located in Dallas, Texas.
All right. I'm not that cool with Dallas, but I love Houston because my sister is over there. Where are you at? Are you Frisco, Plano? Where are you at?
So I'm actually in the heart of Dallas, riding uptown.
Really?
I'll give you some points. I'm a Houston Rockets fan, so if that means anything.
Oh, there we go. No, my sister lives close by MD Anderson. She's a doctor. She's a show-off. One of us had to become a doctor in the family, so she took up on that role. It's cool. My mom rubs it in my face all the time, man. But I'm a money doctor. I'm in financial services, so it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
That's an important role to be in. I'm in a similar field, so in the finance.
What is it that you do, Jay?
So I'm in the mortgage industry. So, I help on the finance side of real estate, helping people understand it, breaking it down, and helping them create that path to wealth in the long term, because that is definitely there's a lack of people that provide that service and actually help people understand how to build wealth and how to achieve that in their life. So, it's a great way.
So let's start with Think and Grow Rich. Absolutely. How old were you? When did you start? And how are you utilizing it right now?
So I read Think and Grow Rich probably, 5 or 6 times through. The first time that I read it, I think I was 15 when I got my hands on it, and
that's bad, man. That's the fastest of me hating you, man. That's a long God. I was like, I was 26 when I read it. Oh my God, who introduced you at 15? What were you doing at 15, man?
So I've always read. I've always been really interested in just gaining knowledge. But I will tell you, at 15. There's no way to be able to really truly absorb the content in this book and really understand the way that
there's a lot of big words in it. I know.
Yeah. So there's been multiple times that I've actually read through it and not gotten everything out of it. It's a very dense book. And so it takes a lot of reading to go through it. And I actually recently read it maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, and really went slowly through it to make sure I was getting as much as I could out of it. And every time that I read it, you get something different.
Isn't that the craziest thing? I still till today, I open it up, I read pages, and I'm like, where was this damn page like 10 years? Like, what happened? Like, did you guys miraculously insert these 2 pages in it? What happened? So I think you're not supposed to get everything the first time you read it. I mean, you got to implement it gradually. That's what. But Jay, tell us, what were the 2 things that you got out of the book that you're like, oh my God, I needed to have this in order for me to flourish? What were those 2 things?
So I think there's the basic principles in the book throughout. Obviously, the biggest point, and there's a reason that it's the first main topic, is having that desire. I think a lot of people have goals. They want to accomplish different things. They say, hey, I'm going to be rich in the future, or hey, I'm going to be successful, but they don't really lock in what that looks like for them. I know a lot of people here are probably familiar with Gary Vee, and Gary Vee, he frames it in this way. Being successful could be saving the Dolphins and making $40,000 a year. Every person's success is up to whatever they want. But still, most people don't put those finite bounds on it. So they give themselves excuses to break out of whatever disciplines or whatever persistence is required to reach that. So having that desire and really getting detailed on that and specific to it is important. And then the thing that I love, just kind of an overarching thing throughout the whole book, is just really deconstructing the way that your mind works. You can only put out what you put in. That's a very common, saying that everybody hears. But when the book breaks it down, just from taking it from desire to developing a plan to making sure that you have people around you that help, foster that and grow your mindset. The book is called Think and Grow Rich. It's not read the book, think, and you are rich, or be rich. It's grow rich, meaning it's the honest.
I love it the way you said it.
There's a lot of persistence.
You can't sit at home and just think and be rich.
No, not at all. So there's a lot of processes that go into it, a lot of discipline, and it's really a lifetime type of endeavor. But you can't get to wherever that is without knowing where you want to go. So
I agree with that 100%. So let's go back again. At 15, who introduced you to the book?
So it was one of those things, Google search good books to read. And I had a friend that had read it. He was introduced to it by his older brother. And it was a lot of high level stuff. At 15, you're not thinking about things like that. Being old or being an adult is something that's far off even at 15. And so I would say that a lot of it went over my head at that age. But, as you go back each time, you kind of remember different things and you have a different level of perception. You've experienced different things in your life. And so you've grown through whatever trials and tribulations, that have occurred. And so each time that I pick it up, I have a little bit more in-depth understanding. I have a little bit more practical application to what's going on in my life. I'm 28 years old now. And so being 28 years old, in the last 13 years, that's almost half of my life. So I've experienced a lot in that time period where these things become more applicable and definitely allow me to implement things a lot better than at 15 years old when I had no idea, what I wanted to be when I grew up.
I was selling my homeworks in high school when I was 15, brother. I was hustling there.
Hey, there you go. I respect that.
That's what I was doing at 15. I don't know about other people, but that's what I was doing for sure. High school years were the most profitable years. I had zero expenses, no taxes had to pay. It was a cash transaction. There was no reporting on it. It was exchange of goods. I give homework, got $20. It was done. There was no chargebacks on it.
Yep,
there wasn't any shipping going on it. There was nothing. Just straight up business. That's how it was.
That's wealth.
I wish I could go back to high school, do that more. Knowing what I know right now, if I go back to high school, I make millions. Like everybody will graduate high school with like 4.3 GPA. Yeah. Like it will be 100%. Just like that.
100%. Well, you're more savvy. You understand how those everyday disciplines really can have a monumental effect on the long-term growth of where you're at. It's knowledge works the same way money does. The faster you can earn it and apply it, it's compounding, right? So, it's not about necessarily just learning things, it's applying it. So knowledge is useless without action. It's something that I wish I would have done better when I was younger. I have, 3 younger brothers, so I try and instill it in them every time that I talk to them. It's like, hey, start now, because the sooner you get started, the better off you're going to be in the long run. And, that's just the name of the game.
But then some people might take that the wrong way. Like, just the fact that you're telling them to start early, it doesn't mean that they're going to get there faster. It just means go make a lot of mistakes right now while you're young so you could talk about it when you become successful. Don't wait till you're 50 and start experimenting.
Exactly.
Get out there and start making mistakes now. Nobody's going to hold it against you. As long as ethically and morally you're not taking advantage of people, go make all the mistakes you can.
Well, you can do the right thing because of the right thing always. That's one thing that I always try and put my best foot forward. My whole premise on the way that I operate is I try and grow myself so that I can help grow others. And it's not that there's any type of set time frame for anybody to achieve what they want, but the sooner you get started, the more you can fail, the more you can grow, the more you can learn, the better off you can make not only yourself, but the other people around you. And you give yourself more opportunities to succeed. Doesn't necessarily mean that you will, but the more no's or the more failures you get, the closer you are to hitting whatever that success is for yourself.
I agree with that. So what would be your best sales pitch? Why I should read this book if I have never read it before? Give me your 1-minute version.
1-minute version sales pitch. Honestly,
convince me why Think and Grow Rich is good for me.
I think Think and Grow Rich is good for you because it changes the way that you think about not only success and riches, it changes the way that you think about yourself. When you can understand and deconstruct the way that a human brain works and the way that all these, especially in this, social era where everybody's on social media and your instant connection with everything in the world, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of experts out there that don't do the homework. They're looking for the shortcut. They're trying to get to wherever they need to get to as fast as possible. And usually those goals are a lot smaller than where they truly could, what they truly could achieve. And so when you learn to become disciplined, when you learn to block out the distractions, when you learn to have a focus, that helps drive you to where you want to be, there's really nothing that can stop you. And the faster that you can understand the things that get in your way and how to protect yourself against it, the faster that you'll succeed. So, you know, if you want to succeed in life at whatever it is, I would suggest reading this book, because when you can deconstruct it, you'll be able to pick up things on a day-to-day basis, on a moment-to-moment basis, on where you're doing well and where you need to reinforce some things. Because, you know, my whole adage is, you know, whether you're working towards your goals or not, you're always moving one direction. So if you're not looking through that lens of where you want to go, that means you're walking away from that, and you're limiting, you know, what those levels of success could be. So the sooner you learn those things, the better off that you'll be.
I appreciate. By the way, that was not 1 minute, okay?
I think it was probably like a minute 15.
No, I love it. Everything you said, I agree 100%. And it's so amazing that, you know, it's such a small thing like a book. Like, you know, if you would have told me this like 15 years ago, that a book is going to have this kind of an effect on you, I was like, there's no way. Because if it did have those effects, why more people are not doing it? Why not everybody successful?
I think,
you know?
I think it's funny, you know, a lot of people say they don't like to read, but everybody's looking for a shortcut. The reality is, this book, you know, in particular,
The shortcut.
Napoleon Hill spent years interviewing some of the most successful people in history, and you can read it, you know, in whatever that time frame is, whether it's a day, a week, a month. You can read it and shortcut years of trying to get that information and immediately apply it to your life. So knowledge is power. Reading is an advantage. The more books you can read, the faster you'll learn, the faster you'll be on your way to success.
Jewell, you're 100% right. I appreciate it. We're gonna definitely be talking to you. I got a couple of Instagram accounts coming up that are just gonna be only purely about financial services, and some of that has to do with mortgage and real estate. We're gonna contact you and we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna learn from your expertise on those platforms, definitely. So you and I are gonna be in contact. I appreciate you taking this time out of your day and being with us.
Thanks for having me on, and looking forward to working with you in the future.
You got it, brother. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Good one.